Alright y'all, so EA just secretly dropped a blog post about College Football 26 Ultimate Team. They didn't make a video or anything about this, so not a lot of people know about it, but I'm here to let y'all know everything that you guys have to know from the blog post, because the game comes out in less than 2 weeks, so we gotta lock in, know everything that we can before the game comes out. So the first thing they go over here is the new cards, and you could see here from this Johnny Manziel, the card art is completely different. It looks a lot better in my opinion. They give the artist a lot more freedom to work with, and I think we can see it right here with this Johnny Manziel. But this Johnny Manziel looks fucking beautiful. I can't even lie. We can see at the top right here, it's an LTD. So not sure if that's a set LTD or if it's a season LTD or what it's gonna be looking like. But yeah, Johnny Manziel, he looks like he's going to be a really good quarterback too. He has 85 speed, 85 throw on the run, pretty good accuracies all around the board, good throw power too. I mean, he might be QB1 at the start of the year, so we're just going to have to wait and see. Next up, they talk a lot more about new game modes they're going to be having in Ultimate Team, which is a thing that a lot of people were asking for, because last year in Ultimate Team, there wasn't really a lot to do outside of, running champs, running head-to-head. There was house rules every once in a while, but I don't think people were playing house rules like that. So in this next year, I think these limited time modes they talk about are going to be really, really fun. So the only one they talk about specifically here is Conference Clash, which is an all SEC team. So you can make your own team, or you could have it automatically generate your team of just all SEC players. And then you'll go in head-to-head against other people with all SEC players, or I guess from their favorite conference or whatever. So you could just go against conference to conference. So that seems like a pretty fun game mode, especially for day one. Moving on, the study hall. This is a big one. So last year, a lot of people complained about solos being really boring and not really, the rewards weren't really that good. This year, they added this study hall game mode where it's the replacement to solo battles, as they say here, but it's a 12-game series, and every game gets harder as you win. So you go through this like kind of gauntlet type thing where every game gets harder, and then at the end you get a good reward. So you can see here at the end of this, I think this featured reward is for the end of the 12 games, you get 10,000 coins. And yeah, you can see right here, you get a token to play study hall once a week, or you could even buy in for 25,000 coins. Yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting game mode. We'll have to see how good this is. It might be a good way to be grinding out coins early on in the year, because early in the year it is really hard to make coins, especially in a way to do it solo. I remember last season I was grinding out solo seasons. I know a lot of other people were too, but this could be a good alternative to that. Next thing to talk about is sets. Last season in college football, I guess we had a lot of sets to complete, where you would put in maybe an 80 overall or 81 overall, and then turn that into 83. Then you got to use the 83s to turn it into an 85. And they said they got rid of all that, and now it's just the sets are only for the champs and the heroes. So you don't have to worry about, I guess, the low overall is going to still low overall, but a little bit better. You just go straight to the champ, which I would have to see more details on that to see whether or not that's a good thing or not. But it seems like they simplified it a little bit. They don't go into much detail here, but they talk about new training store packs. I'm not sure what that is. We're gonna have to probably wait and see about that, but looks pretty interesting. So this is a new feature that they were talking about, Pack Helper, which I'm pretty interested in. Last year when you open packs, you would have a new player, and sometimes it'd be kind of hard to see whether or not that player would be good for your lineup. Even if it's a fantasy pack, for example, if you're choosing one player, you don't really know who's going to be best for your lineup. You have to sometimes back out of the pack, go check your lineup, go back into the pack, and it was a whole big deal. Now they have this thing called Pack Helper, which you could sort of see at the bottom of this screenshot right here. Pack Helper is sort of a tool that you could have while you're opening packs to quickly see whether or not the player that you just pulled is actually going to be useful to you. So I think that's going to be super useful, especially for people like me who love to open packs. I think that's going to be a really good feature. Next up, they talk about their drag and drop function. So like a quality of life change for the lineups, where instead of now having to go in and edit every player one by one when you want to change your starters and your backups, you don't have to go and switch them all one by one anymore. You could just drag and drop your starter into a bench slot or a backup slot, and you'll be good. Also, they talk about new specialty positions like gadget players, edge rushers, Will, Mike, and Sam linebackers. So it seems like they're making things a lot better in the lineup, which is always good to see. nice quality of life change. And this is a pretty big change for people who've been playing Ultimate Team a lot. One thing that people were complaining about all throughout Ultimate Team last year was the lack of content, and it seems like they listened. So they're saying they're going to be a lot more midweek drops, so a lot more programs, a lot more sets to complete, which is always a good thing. And the major programs, which I think last year was stuff like Ultimate Alumni and things like that earlier in the year, they're going to be changing what those are more frequently. So it's not just going to be Ultimate Alumni every Friday. Maybe it'll be Ultimate Alumni for 2 weeks, and then they'll switch it to something else. So it's going to be a lot more diversity, and it's going to make Ultimate Team a lot more fun, I'll tell you that much. And they also say that it's not going to be as much NFL players. It's going to be more focused on student athletes and alumni. So like last year, for example, I remember earlier in the year they dropped a Christian McCaffrey, they had a Lamar Jackson, and those were like super good cards off rip. But I think they don't want to do that as much anymore. They want to keep NFL cards to Madden, and they want to have the focus of College Football Ultimate Team to be college football players, which I think is a super good change, and I'm excited for that. Next thing here, they talk about scheme changes. So last year there was obviously separate schemes for 3-3-5, 3-3-5 tight, 3-4, 3-4 multiple, all these different schemes. They've now condensed a bunch of them together. So 3-3-5 tight is now just within 3-3-5. 3-4 multiple is now within 3-4. On the offensive side, spread option is now just option. So it makes things a lot more simple for people who maybe were getting confused by schemes. And also it makes the chemistry bonuses a lot easier, because last year, for example, if you were running a 3-4 scheme and you had a bunch of players in 3-4 multiple, it didn't actually count towards your chemistry bonus, but this year it will. So that's always a good thing. Yeah, and another quality of life change here is multiple player item backs. So basically what this is when you flip a card over, it's a lot like 2K. If any of you guys have ever played 2K, when you flip over the card, you see first the attributes, and then you flip it again and you can see the abilities, and then you flip it again and you can see the chemistries. So it's just going to make everything a lot more accessible. You don't have to click through a bunch of menus to access all this information about your card. So yeah, I think that's a net good thing. They also talk a little bit about how they balanced ability costs a little bit, how they made them more affordable, which would be interesting to see how that works out. Yeah, and then they get into the pre-order offers here, which is pretty important. If you pre-order the game, if you're big into Ultimate Team, if you haven't pre-ordered the game already, I would definitely recommend pre-ordering now. You're not going to get as many rewards as you would have if you pre-ordered like 2 weeks ago, but I think it's still worth it. They go into the pre-order bonus, which if you pre-order the deluxe edition before June 19th, you will be getting this pack. Or if you bought the MVP bundle at any point, you will also be getting this pack. You get to choose out of 4 names of the game's players. You get to pick one, and your options are Cam Coleman, wide receiver out of Auburn, Isaiah Wokobia, strong safety out of SMU, Daquan Wright, tight end out of Ole Miss, Zane Durant, D tackle out of Penn State. If you guys aren't sure who you're going to pick, I'm going to have a video on day 1 about who the best player to pick is. So go ahead and subscribe. On day 1, I will be having a video out about that. Next up, they talk about the Fresh Faces pack. So this is for anybody who pre-orders the deluxe edition at any point. And even if you don't pre-order, you could buy the MVP edition before August 14th, and you'll get one of these players as well. So yeah, this pack is another fantasy pack where you're going to be able to get to choose 1 out of 5 of the following players. There's an 83 overall Noah Aarons? I don't know. Noah Aarons, left edge. Derek Maxey II, strong safety. Cole Best, center. London Humphreys, wide receiver, and Rico Jackson, left tackle. All 83 overall. So some pretty decent bonuses if you did pre-order the game. Additionally, if you picked up the MVP edition, you're going to be getting an 83 overall right edge Dylan Stewart. So that's a pretty big pickup. 83 overall, day 1. It's probably going to be pretty good. So if you pick that up, you're getting a pretty decent reward there. I do wish it was a little bit better. I mean, if you're buying the MVP edition, you're dropping $150 on the game. So I feel like it could have been a little better, but 83 overall, can't complain. Next up, we're gonna go over the early access exclusive players. So they did reveal 2 early access exclusives, which you'll only be able to get within the 3 days before the game's official release. So if you didn't know, if you bought the deluxe edition or the MVP edition, you get to play the game on July 7th, 3 days before the game officially comes out on July 10th. And in those 3 days, in packs, there's going to be 2 exclusive early access players. There's going to be an 85 overall Brian Urlacher and an 86 overall Ricky Williams. Here are their stats and what they look like. That Ricky Williams is an LTD, so he is going to be pretty hard to pull, but for day one, those stats look insane. 85 speed day one, 86 overall, 84 break tackle as well. He's probably going to be one of, if not the best running back on day one. So if you were going to be ripping packs before the game comes out during early access, that's the guy that you're going to be targeting. Brian Urlacher looks good as well, but Ricky Williams is definitely going to be probably what people are going for on day one. All right, so next up, a lot of stuff. If you got one of the special editions, if you pre-ordered either the deluxe edition or the MVP bundle, you're gonna be able to choose one of the 2 cover athletes in Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams. Now this is pretty big. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, obviously 2 of the most hyped up prospects in college football right now. Both had great seasons last year, both going into their sophomore season this year, and both super good cards, honestly. Last year, a lot of their cards were really expensive, and yeah, I assume it's not going to change this year either. They're probably going to have better cards than these in the auction market. I assume just their core cards will probably be close to an 84, 85 for both of them, but just as a nice little bonus, they're throwing in an 81 overall wide receiver for you. I am leaning towards picking Jeremiah Smith here, even though Ryan Williams is also a great option. Jeremiah Smith is 6'3", Ryan Williams is only 6 feet tall. But Ryan Williams does have better spin move, and I'm assuming he's going to have a better juke and after the catch stats as well. So I guess it's just up to personal preference on what you're leaning towards, but for me personally, I think the height is going to be what determines it for me. Next up, they talk about some programs that we're going to be getting off rip. So day one, we're going to be getting a names of the game program, which we didn't end up getting last year until a couple months in. But yeah, we're going to be getting a names of the game collection here. Like last year, if you guys remember, there was the set with like General Booty, Alpha Khan, those guys. They were all in the names of the game set. They're bringing it day one this year. And they show us a little sneak peek of the new D.I.C. Hopkins card. Card art looks super sick. They really they stepped it up this year for sure. But yeah, this card looks really good as well. I mean, 85 free safety, 85 zone, 85 speed. He's probably going to be the best free safety in the game day one. So that's another card to be looking out for day one if you were going to be opening packs. And then they go over the season one, some of the season one rewards. I guess just technically one season one reward in this Xavier Scott, which you can earn by completing objectives. And he's going to be an 87 overall. So not sure how hard he's going to be to get. I'm assuming he's going to be pretty hard to get because an 87 overall being available day one is pretty insane, especially when we just saw the LTD Johnny Manziel was only an 86 overall. So he's probably going to be the best corner in the game. 87 speed, 85 man, 85 zone. He's definitely going to be one of the best cards in the game. I'm probably going to be pretty hard to earn. But yeah, that's all they gave us for season one. They do say that they're going to have a college football rundown launch special stream on their Twitch. I think it's on July 6th is when the launch stream is. So when that happens, tune in. If you guys can't tune in, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be going over everything they talk about on there so you don't miss a thing. But yeah, super interesting stuff there. And then they go over some of the crossover items that you can earn in College Football 25 that are going to transfer over to College Football 26. So I am planning on making a video on this because I know there's a lot of stuff that you need to do right now in College Football 25 to get ready for College Football 26. So I'm probably just going to make a video of everything so that people have one place they can go to figure out what they need to be doing before 26 comes out so they could be as prepared as possible. So that video should be coming out in maybe a day or two because we still don't have all the information. But yeah, I'll put that out as soon as possible. For now, the 3 players that you can get is Devin Hester, Haloti Ngata, and Eric Dickerson. So if y'all want to know how to get those cards and how to get some other rewards too that they don't mention here, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be making a video on that pretty soon. And yeah, the last thing to talk about for Ultimate Team here is their new Twitch drop system. So if you guys weren't familiar last year, you could tune into the official EA Twitch streams and then you get Twitch packs, which usually weren't the greatest, honestly. I saw some people pull some good stuff out of them, but for the most part, they weren't that great. This year, they're completely changing things. They're introducing a new campus token system, which when you watch the Twitch streams and you get Twitch drops, you'll get these campus token, like campus token points or something, into your account. You connect your EA account to your Twitch, and then watch Twitch streams. I'll leave the link in the description for how to actually, go about doing it. But you basically just link your account, and then as you watch these EA Twitch streams, you get rewards like a couple players and a campus token. And then with these tokens, you can redeem these rewards in the game. So as you can see here, from 1 to 10 campus tokens, you can redeem like these packs. They have drop packs, fantasy packs, better packs, and they have obviously the BND and just regular pack versions. But then you can also upgrade to a super token. So once you get 10 of those campus tokens from those drops, you can upgrade those 10 into one super token. And with these super tokens, you can get some pretty good rewards. So with 2 super tokens, you can get a fantasy pack, just regular non-BND. With 3 super tokens, you get a superior BND pack. With 7 campus tokens, you get a BND champion pack. And with 20 super tokens, you get a 99 overall exclusive Michael Crabtree wide receiver. So some pretty good reward there. I don't know how often they're going to be doing these streams. They said if you watch every stream, you're going to earn at least 250 campus tokens. So you're going to be able to get a lot of stuff with this if you are watching the streams. So if you were thinking about doing that, I would definitely connect your Twitch account. Like I said, I'm going to have some information in the description where you can go ahead and check that out. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's basically all they went over in the blog post. The rest of it, they're kind of just talking about head-to-head. If you were interested in looking at that, I'm going to link the whole blog post in the description as well. So yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff that you still need to do before College Football 26 and a bunch of stuff that they still haven't revealed yet. If you want the easiest way to stay up to date with all that information, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and comment if you have any questions as well. I'll be responding to comments. But yeah, stay tuned. There can be a lot more on this. Looking forward to College Football 26, and I'll see y'all boys there. Peace.